Should you invest in the Roblox metaverse? If you're watching this video, that's the question you're probably asking yourself. Now, I did do a video on Roblox a couple of months ago, and I got into the stock below $65 a share. Now, it rallied to above $100 a share. In fact, the 52-week high was $103.87, and it's pulled back. It's actually down over 25% from its highs. So you're wondering, should I add Roblox to my portfolio? So what I'm gonna do in this video today is I'm gonna give you a really quick snapshot of fundamental analysis, some facts about the company. So if you don't know a lot about their business, I'm gonna paint that picture in a nice way, in a really concise way, to give you bullet points of what the company's all about and some of the numbers and some really impressive growth metrics that you're gonna wanna see. Now, after I cover the fundamentals, I'm gonna show you a chart, I'm gonna look at the technicals, and I'm gonna tell you what I think. I'm gonna give you my opinion on the price level. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, I've got my handy dandy notebook here and I'm gonna go through some highlights on Roblox. So first and foremost, if you don't know much about the company, they're a multiplayer gaming platform that brings players and developers together. Their mission is to enable billions of people from around the world to have fun, learn, and play. Roblox is built on a strong foundation of millions of developers. In fact, there's over 8 million developers. Now these developers create immersive experiences, which are basically games, but they call them experiences. Roblox has over 50 million of these experiences. So if you play Roblox and you're a user, you can actually play 50 million games on the platform. Now, Roblox is rated as a top entertainment platform for ages 18 and under. However, they are trying to push to the older demographics as well. Of course, that's going to be key, and there are some risks to this business. We'll talk about some of those risks in this video. Now, revenues are generated by the sale of Robux, R-O-B-U-X. That's the in-game currency. This currency allows you to buy upgraded experiences as well as improvements to your avatar. Now, Roblox does have some very exciting partnerships. An example is Netflix with Stranger Things. They have an experience that's just about Stranger Things, and there's tons of other examples like this. Now, Roblox also has some huge advertising partners. This is key for their business. So think of like Disney, for example, Lego, many others. They've done things like live concerts. And if you listen to any earnings calls or you listen to CEO talk, they'll tell you that they're just getting started with these experiences and these advertising partnerships. So 2021 Q1 revenue. So this was the last quarter. They're going to be reporting again here in mid-August, so something to keep in mind. But their revenue was $387 million. That was 140% year-over-year growth, 140%. Now, bookings is probably the most important metric for Roblox because of how they report their revenue and how they realize their revenue. Bookings includes in current revenue as well as future revenue. And that was up 161%, guys, 161% to $652 million. Do they have some tailwinds with the pandemic? Absolutely. Are there risks because of that? Yes. With that said, they actually are a free cash flow company. $142 million of free cash flow in Q1 of 2021. So $142 million versus $35 million in the same quarter in the previous year. Now, this is a founder-run company, so the founder is the CEO, which I think is huge. What I want to do next, guys, is I want to show you some charts to show you the valuation. And I'm going to show you things like EA and some other like closely related like Take-Two video game publishers. But I'm also going to show you some cloud companies because of the growth. And I want to show you this. I think it'll paint a good picture of really what Roblox is all about in terms of their growth. You cannot compare them to Activision or Take-Two because Roblox is really in more of a hyper growth period compared to those legacy type video game creators. So please do stay tuned for this valuation chart. I think actually it'll be mind-blowing when you see it. And then once I'm done, I'm going to show you a chart. I'm going to show you some prices. I'm going to show you some levels, some technicals, and tell you my opinion of where I think the stock might go and where I might add some more shares in my portfolio. All right, guys, be prepared to have your mind blown when I show you this information. I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of serious. I'm joking, I'm just serious. But so here's Roblox. So time spent on social media platforms, minutes per day. Roblox, 156 minutes. And you think this is, obviously younger generations. They're trying to get older adults to use Roblox. And it's starting to work because they're making the graphics better. As the graphics get better, that's going to be a simpler task to do. Of course, there's no denying the fact, though, that the majority of the people that are playing Roblox are younger. And of course that is a challenge because you need those younger people to pay for Robux, which requires their parents' permission. And you can see why during the pandemic, this was boosted because kids were staying at home. They needed something to do. The parents are like, here, go ahead, just go ahead and have some money and whatever, just stay out of my hair. I know that sounds terrible. But that's really what was going on. So I'm not naive to that fact that as an investor, But wait till I show you this next slide. Before I get there, so TikTok, 58 minutes, of course, that's the younger generation. You know, YouTube, what you're watching right now, which I think covers every demographic pretty well, but you could argue that, you know, maybe the younger generations are using Snap, TikTok, things like that. Instagram, Facebook, a lot of people would say it's the older audiences using Facebook, and then Pinterest, which kind of has its own unique niche. But you think of like TikTok, I'd be surprised if someone said to me, you know, 58 minutes on TikTok versus 156 minutes on Roblox. Okay, you ready for this? Check this out, guys. This is really cool. Okay, so EA, Nintendo, Take-Two, Activision. Now we got Shopify, Twilio, Cloudflare, Roku, and Unity. Not trying to compare the business model necessarily to Roblox, to these other companies, trying to show you an idea of valuation, okay, and growth metrics. So if you look at Electronic Arts, revenue growth, TTM, 1.66%. You know, EA's forward revenue growth, 14.6. So the EV to sales is only 6.5. It makes sense. There's not a lot of growth, so you're not paying a premium for the growth. EV to sales ratio forward, 4.9x. And you can look on the chart yourself and just see the comparisons, but look at Roblox, guys. Okay, so 105% revenue growth. Now on the chart, nothing else is even close except Shopify. Shopify is 100%. But look at like Cloudflare. That's a Fired Up Wealth favorite, 50.9%. Twilio, another Fired Up Wealth favorite, 56.9%. Roku, 63.5%. Unity, 44.3%. You know, look at these metrics. Okay, so forward revenue growth, 144%. Nothing is even close on this board. Shopify is the closest at 55.7%. That's pretty mind-boggling when you look at that. EV to sales ratio, okay, it's a little expensive. So people like to compare Roblox to Activision, to Take-Two, Nintendo, Electronic Arts. So if you compare it to those, yeah, it's crazy expensive. You might look at this and you might miss an opportunity for a great growth stock, in my opinion, because you're going to look at this and say, well, Activision Blizzard's a great company. It's only 7.6x, and Roblox is a 37.3x. But then you look at these other, you know, cloud type companies that have actually lower growth, and they're trading at higher sales ratio. Now, of course, it's not a great comparison because you think of recurring revenue and enterprise. It's a lot safer of a revenue stream that you're going to get that recurring revenue versus Roblox, which isn't necessarily a recurring revenue stream. But you have to understand too how they do their bookings, and this is why a lot of people misunderstand Roblox. But you have to know those bookings to understand what the future revenue is. So it's not necessarily, you know, software as a service or a recurring revenue stream per se, but it does have a little bit more of that model compared to its peers. So the EV to sales ratio on a forward basis for Roblox, 15.9x. You look at some of these other ones, Twilio, Shopify, Cloudflare. I mean, Cloudflare is a 50.9x EV to sales ratio forward, and Roblox is a 15.9. I'm not saying that you should go and sell your Cloudflare or your Shopify and buy Roblox. That's not what I'm doing. I'm simply doing this to give you an idea, a comparison, a more fair comparison somewhere in the middle. So do they deserve the same premium? Does Roblox deserve the same premium as a Cloudflare or a Twilio or a Shopify? No, I'm not saying that. Does it deserve more of a premium than Electronic Arts, Take-Two, or Activision Blizzard? I think the answer is yes. All right, guys, next we're going to look at a chart here on TradingView. I'm going to give you my opinion on the stock price and where it might go. Now, I've already shared this information with the Discord community. If you're interested in joining us on Discord, you go to Fired Up Wealth Patreon and join one of the tiers to get access to the Discord community. Now, if you don't want to join the Discord community, I do free information, free videos on YouTube twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. All you need to do is subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to get notifications. Please hit the like button and drop me a comment. That's how you can return the favor for the free information, and I do appreciate the support very much. The next thing I want to do before I talk about the price is I want to talk about just a couple of the risks. So risks, of course, the pandemic fueled this company, this stock. They've been pretty proactively telling us that the earnings per share and that the growth are going to slow down after the pandemic. So the comps are a little, very difficult right now, but I think some of that is somewhat priced in. I do think the stock could always go a lot lower because of these risks, but if you look at the growth metrics, I mean, I think they can still fire on all cylinders even after the pandemic. If you look at Roblox, they were still growing at a 50% annual clip before the pandemic. Now you're going to lose some of those people from the pandemic, but some of those are going to be sticky. They've developed habits. And a lot of times when you like something, you tell your friends. And so I actually see some of that growth actually being sticky because of that. And I can see these guys doing much better than even their their downgraded metrics. So we'll see what happens. They've got earnings here coming up in mid-August. And of course, there's always risk. You know, I always dollar cost average. I don't go all in. So I've only got kind of a starter position. I've got 50 shares around $64, $65. And I'm looking to add, I think I would add probably 2 to 250 more shares, a max of 300 shares in the portfolio if the price were right. So I'm going to dollar cost average. I'm going to nibble on it. If it comes down in these ranges, I'm going to show you here, but I'm going to wait for earnings and see what happens because it could always go a leg lower. Now, based on the technicals, what we have right now, guys, let me just move my camera over here. So what you're just seeing this descending wedge. That's the yellow lines on your screen. Now that would actually bring the price a little bit lower. We're trading right now around $77, $78. We're pretty much flat right now in the pre-market. Now, if you look at this, it basically started in the 60s. It ran up to $103.87. It's pulled back. It's down over 25% from the highs. Now, a couple of different things could happen. One possibility is this blue line, which is the previous low. You can see this candle right here. It kind of kissed that blue line and then popped up. So it could come down and retest that blue line. It could break that and follow this descending wedge down to this red line. This is going to give you about a $70 stock price. And then this bottom line, I think there's good support on this floor here around $65. Could it go lower than $65? Absolutely it could. The price targets I'd be looking at, 75, 70, and 65. And you can see those lines, the blue line and the two red lines. Hope this video is helpful. Hit the like button, drop a comment. Appreciate your time and attention. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.